Hey there, it is Your Financial Maven, and I'm here today to do another, Minisode with you guys. And this time it's really going to be on the individual taxes. 2025 is here. Tax season has begun. I have some minisodes out there for my small business owners. Some of this stuff will actually play for you if you're doing both your business and individual tax returns, but I really want to focus on my individual, tax people. So, first thing to know, the IRS has stated that tax season will officially kick off January 27th, 2025 for their direct file to be able to e-file if you're using tax preparer, things like that. They do have their free file that is currently opened, but please note that while it is open and I believe you can start working on it, again, the returns won't actually get processed until January 27th. In addition to that, it is right now, I'm recording this on January 10th. You may not have actually gotten your W-2s yet or your 1099 forms yet or K-1s. So keep that in mind. The 1099 miscellaneous non-employee compensation forms and W-2s must be sent to you by January 31st, 2025. And I believe the 1099s for interest, dividend, mortgage statements, a new one this year, 1099 digital assets, I do believe will be coming through again this year. I believe those don't need to get to you until February 15th. It doesn't mean you won't get them by the end of January, but keep that in mind. If you are only a W-2 filer and you have your W-2s, you should be able to at least get started with the process. But I don't believe the IRS will actually accept the filings until January 27th. With that, this direct file has about 25 of the 50 states that you can also go on to the IRS website, direct file there, and it will file it for your state. Of course, if you're using tax software, they typically will have federal and state. And if you're using a professional like myself as a CPA, they will typically have that to be able to do your federal and state. Now, I will do a word of caution. I am in the state of Pennsylvania. I know other states have local taxes as well. State of Pennsylvania has local taxes. If you are preparing your returns on your own and using tax software for your own preparation, it might prepare your local returns. It's not going to file them for you. So please make sure that if you have to file any type of local tax returns, you're going ahead and you are filing those separate from the tax software that you may use. In addition, I quickly mentioned K-1s. Those are typically what you would get from partnerships or S corporations. If you're a partner in a business or a shareholder in a business, those business returns, along with C corporation returns, are not due until March 15th. So please note, while you may have everything else by, first, second, third week of February, you may not have your business return yet. So please make sure that you, keep status on that. Make sure that you can file those. If those end up going on extension, it might mean your personal return needs to go on an extension. And as I have mentioned many times before, the extension is for filing of time. If you owe any taxes, you still have to pay them by April 15th. So a couple of dates also, January 15th, 2025. If you need to pay any fourth quarter estimated taxes for 2024, they are due by then. W-2 and 1099 miscellaneous and non-employee compensation forms are required to be sent out by January 31st. As I mentioned, partnerships, C corporations, S corporations have a March 15th, 2025 deadline. And then your personal returns, along with if you have to do a Schedule C, which is for a sole proprietor business, or Schedule E or any other schedules, is due April 15th, 2005. If you do file an extension for time only, businesses have until September 15th, 2025, and personal individuals are till October 15th, 2025. Something else too, there are a couple of other programs that you can use. So I did mention IRS's direct file, also that it directly files to about 25 states. I know that the state of Pennsylvania, and I think a majority of states, also have direct file for their state returns directly on their sites as well. So if you want to check those out, you can. There is something called Volunteer Income Tax Assistance Program, VITA. They are typically located through a United Way or in a library library in your local area. So if you just type in VITA, that's V as in Victor, I-T as in Tom, A, so Volunteer Income Tax Assistance, they should be able to then pop up somewhere on Google and let you know. There's also something called Militax, which is something through the Department of Defense for our military families and friends who might need to file their returns. There is that. You can type that in, Mili, M-I-L-I tax, Department of Defense, and take a look at that. And a couple of other things I want to remind you is if you are looking for a tax professional, like I said, I'm a certified public accountant. I am certified. I have my professional taxpayers identification number to prepare and file returns with the IRS, as well as state and local. You want to make sure you're looking for a trusted tax professional. There are several ways that you can do this. You can go to the IRS website, irs.gov, and in the search function, you could type in, I think it's trusted pro or certified public accountant. It should pop up, and it'll give you a list of everybody that they know that is certified. The other thing you can do, especially if they're a certified public accountant, you can go to your state's Department of Licensures and look to make sure their license is active. If you're still not sure, what you can do is when you hire a tax professional, you want to make sure that at a minimum, they're giving you an engagement letter that lays everything out and that, they sign it, you sign it, that kind of a thing, that they are willing to sign your tax return. If they refuse to sign the tax return, that's a huge red flag. That they have a preparer tax identification number, a PTIN. That is extremely important. We are required to have those in addition to our certifications. So you want to make sure that you have that. The other thing you can do, and I highly recommend this, is go to irs.gov if you haven't already done so and create your IRS account. If you file jointly, each taxpayer must have their own IRS account. While you file jointly, the IRS still looks at taxpayers individually based off of their social security numbers. But it's important to have that account. You can check on prior returns, prior payments or refunds you may have received. You can pull your prior return transcripts, wage transcripts, things like that. You can also do a power of attorney with your tax professional so they can look at current and prior year tax information as needed. And the other really important thing, which I think is becoming more and more something that needs to be done, is getting an identity PIN. Now, you might think, I already did that last year. Every year you have to get a new identity PIN. That PIN, it basically protects your return even more when it gets e-filed. I have, as a professional tax preparer, what is called an EFIN, an electronic financial number also. And that is the originator's number. That tells the IRS that I am valid and legal to file that return in addition to my preparer's number. But your identity number, so let's just say, for example, you had the identity PIN and somebody tried to file without your identity PIN, then the returns would get rejected. If you didn't have an identity PIN and somebody files a return before you filed your return will get rejected, and then you have to go through with the IRS to show them that you are who you are. And that's a lot of steps, and it can get messy. So I highly recommend that you go to irs.gov and get your identity PIN. I'll leave a bunch of information in the podcast notes on links and things on where you can find that. And, this is Your Financial Maven, and I wish everybody a happy tax season. Follow, like, and subscribe to Your Financial Maven wherever you listen to your podcasts. And make sure that you leave your money stories or questions for me at www.yourfinancialmavenpodcast.com. I cannot wait to hear what you have to say about money. The purpose of this podcast is to provide general information on the subjects discussed. It is for educational, informational, and entertainment purposes only. It is not meant to resolve your specific financial needs or situations. Please consult with your CPA, tax, or financial professionals. Your Financial Maven is hosted and produced by Samantha M. Besnoff, CPA, and Your Financial Maven, LLC. Music is written, composed, and performed by Daniel Shore.